Go ahead, Tommy.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Jim Feist Pro Football Handicapping Show. My name is Tommy Canale. I'm one of the moderators for the show, and sitting next to me is the undisputed champion in sports handicapping, Jim Feist. We are here on the patio at 9785 West Charleston Boulevard in Las Vegas at DeMarco's Pizzeria and Wine Bar. We're here every Wednesday at noon for a very long time, all the way through the football season and beyond. Jim, how are we this week?
Good news and bad news.
Okay, let's start with the good. I always want to hear the good.
Good news is I'm winning in baseball, winning in WNBA, and
is the bad news you're losing in football?
But you notice that I didn't mention a damn thing about the NFL, right?
That means we're losing in NFL?
The NFL is like, wow.
Well, before I get into our guest, we are live on both Dom DeMarco's YouTube channel and Proline TV. Text your questions or comments anytime during the show. Greg DePalma will air Proline Pick Wednesdays immediately following our show today with key trends and selections on the week's games. Greg will also interview guests this week about the Baltimore Ravens and Clemson Tigers' surprisingly disappointing starts to their respective seasons. You can catch that only on Proline TV. Today we got somebody brand new with us and a returning guest. Our brand new guest is sports bettor, contest player, and a gambling guru. Let's welcome to the show, Randy McKay. Randy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. And a very familiar face that's not only here to be a guest, but always here to support the show. We call him Crackman, over 25 years of professional sports bettor. Crackman, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Randy hasn't been on yet?
No, he hasn't been on. I thought he was on last year, but he said no.
Okay.
Yeah. Crackman, I want to ask you a question.
That was a mistake. Randy not being here for a whole year.
That's unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
I know.
I was tired of Colorado, so I like to come. It's good to be here. I bring down the average age, I think, a little bit.
just to let you know, a couple things about Randy. So Randy's a professional gambler for at least as long as I have been. I'm going on 30 years. Randy was a machine bettor, machines, and knowing about edges, knowing about stuff we could probably talk about here. We won't talk about on a lot of other shows. Randy is a specialist in the casinos. Casinos kind of like hate Randy. Randy's won like how many cars have you won from casinos?
14 overall.
14 cars.
But,
so now when I say that,
do you have them all parked in the garage somewhere?
14 cars?
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa.
He's got more cars than people have hole-in-ones.
The one I have in the parking lot right now.
The one he has in the parking lot. You know, Randy knows a lot about these edges, and Randy's always good to share them. I have myself won my share of cars in contests and stuff also, because of stuff that Randy has shared with me over the years. And so when it comes to machines, I can tell him anything, show him something. He knows a lot about that kind of stuff. But Randy also a lifetime winning NFL sports bettor, which is hard to do, Jim, as you know. NFL sides. Randy, one of the few people that I know in life that has beat NFL sides. And again, Randy has done very, very, very well for himself. And I'm going to embarrass him. Like last year when he calls me up and says, "Hey, Bill, they have this deal at Wells Fargo. I'm sorry to do this to you in front of everybody. If you put $500,000 in the bank." Oh, Randy, put $500,000 in the bank.
It was only a quarter of it.
Only $250,000. If you put $250,000 in, they give you a good deal. They're giving you this bonus. I said, Randy, don't talk to me about putting $250,000. Just Randy's very, very intelligent, gets the best of everything. And if you see him playing something in a casino, you can guarantee he has an edge. You can ask him. He'll tell you, too. He's a pretty open book. He'll tell you anything. He's really been helpful for me. And a lot of guys, I'll ask him questions. People text me from all the country about these certain bonus machines. I'll say, Randy, is this machine any good? He'll say, no, it's good at 27. Wait till it gets up one more, then you can start playing. It's a mathematical edge. So not only casinos, sports books, you have someone special on the show. Just wanted to let you guys know.
Crackman, I want to go to you real quick because I talked to Jim about this last week, and I want to ask you, you grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey. You know pizza.
Yeah.
How good is the pizza here at Dom DeMarco's?
Well, I worked 9 years old. Was my first job working for my aunt and uncle. My mother's side Italian, working for their a real Italian pizza place on the Jersey Shore, Kingsburg, New Jersey, boardwalk town. Been there 60 years now. They had great boardwalk pizza, thicker crust, really good. I personally now, as I got a little bit older, I love that thin, real thin crust pizza. There's one in New York, John's on Bleecker. In New Haven, the New Haven pizza. I love the New Haven style, real thin, crispy charcoal coal oven. Hard to find anywhere. They do a great job here. I had a pizza here last year. Al said, I said, what is that thin pizza? And I took a slice, and he goes, just try it. It was cauliflower.
Oh,
I said, cauliflower?
I had it last week for the first time.
Cauliflower? But it was very good.
Yes.
Real thin, crispy. Yes. But even their obviously the Dom DeMarco brand from out of Brooklyn, fantastic. They do a great job on pizza.
Jim, let's start with you because we talked about this before we started the show, and I want to get your take while we're on camera. How has the preseason affected the start of this NFL regular season?
I think it's destroyed it.
You think it's destroyed it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back to Bill Belichick about 4 years ago, when he said, with the preseason, the way it's designed now by the Players Association, the union, and you can't use pads, you can't do this, you can't do that. These players are coming into the regular season, which is the last 4 weeks, and these are the preseason games, and it's a mess. The players are not in shape. They're getting hurt faster. They're not coordinated. They're not in sync, and we're seeing garbage on the field. Troy Aikman, of course, he said it in different ways the other night. He said he was talking about the flags and he was talking about the product on the field, and he said this is a bad product. And then USA ran an article this morning that we're throwing more flags now. They've started measuring this in 2009. We're throwing more flags per game now than we ever have. I mean, it's just, they have to change things. You got to go back to what football really is.
I agree.
It was. And all this garbage, and I'm sorry, you just can't soften the game up and put skirts on everybody. It's not that kind of a game. It's a physical game. Let them play.
I get it. Randy, I want to go to you, and then Crackman, I want to get your take on this as well. 49ers, I mean, they got 2 banged-up quarterbacks. They got wide receivers banged up. Going to go play the Rams on this Thursday. Line opened at 5.5. It's up to 7. Did you grid on this earlier, or what do you like on this, Randy, if anything at all?
So far, I'm passed on the game, but I agree with Jim's point here that with the preseason going from 4 games to 3, we're just seeing rash of injuries, especially it's weird, too, on the offensive defensive line. Some of these teams just get decimated on this offensive line, which I'll get into on some of my picks, which actually help us. But, yeah, going from 4 to 3 games has been a big detriment, I think, for the NFL and for us bettors, because there were some good situations in preseason to bet certain, because you got the information who's playing, who isn't.
Correct. On this Niners game, has it been ruled as Purdy questionable, or is he out?
Well, first I want to tell you, September 29th, or the day that was at 9:34 a.m., Rams were minus 3.5 at the win. And, but, you can't give that to people because it's privy just to the win, 3.5. It was 4 at some other places. So the Rams here were the play. And even today, there was a couple 6.5s, now up to 7 everywhere. I know the syndicate that released that, a winning sports bettor, by the way. However, you cannot lay 7. You can't lay 7 in this game. So the only way to go now on this game is to take San Fran. I'll just tell you right now, you can't. One thing people do, they ask who you're on, and it's not fair to tell the people who you're on because you're on at a total different line. There's a point that both sides of that game is right in the circles that Randy and I go around in. We're going to get the best of it. We're going to get closing line value 95% of the time. So it's not fair to tell you the Rams, when they were minus 3.5 and minus 4, and now they're up to 7. And I could see even some 7 minus 15s out there. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, as Scott, who's away now on one of his vacations, Scott said a couple weeks ago, I actually went to one of the casinos and bet against the Rams because of the not to make the playoffs. It looks like I'm going to be a loser on that play. Wow, imagine someone in the media space talking about a loser. But I think I'm going to be a loser on that, obviously. But it was price dependent. I said that here when I was in the audience. I took $1.70, I think, on the no. That was just based on the quarterback there. Of course, Rams quarterback. So situationally, he's playing good. They're playing good. Yet my worst beats, maybe in my career, have been the Rams a couple weeks ago versus the Eagles. where I took 4.5 on that game, took some 4. One of my, and you know, when everyone starts agreeing with you, I actually probably, I didn't overbet that, you know, in relation to my bankroll, but probably overbet that in relation to an NFL side, because I took 4.5, took some 4, even took some 3.5, and then I got guys like Randy and my other guy agreeing with that 3.5. I think Fez had the 3.5.
I gave out the 3 minus 20 on your show on the Eagles.
So that, oh yeah, that's right. So Randy, that's right. Randy was on my show, on my Wife's Cracks podcast, and he was on that. And you gave out the -3. I told you I had the other side. You had the -3. Yeah, you deserved that win.
Jim, let me ask you something here.
Lucky victory.
The Ravens, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. They're losing games, star players to injury at alarming rates. The Vikings seem to be following their written book here, whatever they're doing. It's Houston at Baltimore this week. And this line has gone from one side to the other. It's now Houston -1.5 last time I looked. And I think it opened up, the Ravens were -1.5. Did you get on this early, or are you passing on this, or what are you doing with this game?
Well, I'm scratching my head. I mean, I can't believe that Houston is a favorite in this game. I don't like the Houston team. I don't like their offensive line. I think they beat a team last week that really is barely an NFL team. But the Ravens are well coached. They have talented players at a lot of positions, but they have a ton of injuries. But the Texans started the season off with a lot of injuries. A lot of players out, especially offensive line, Stroud, et cetera, et cetera. I don't see how they're favored on the road. I just don't get it. Baltimore is just too good. The pedigree is too good. I'm not betting it. I'm just talking. But we go back to the game for tomorrow night, and everybody said, well, we lost the number on the game. But I was going to ask Bill, what's the line, the total on the San Francisco LA Ram game tomorrow?
I think it's 46.5.
Yeah, let's go to tomorrow's game.
Because
Yes.
I bet it under.
Yeah, it's 46. There's 47s out there. Superbook has 47. Pinnacle has 47.
Don't you think that's a little high for a game with quarterback injuries and all the offenses aren't that great anyway?
Yeah, you know, one thing about Jim, one thing that you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know what color the uniform is. You don't have to know no team players, no names of any. You don't have to know the name of a quarterback. If you market cap, just looking at the sharp sports books in the world, I kind of market cap. So market capping means you're looking at the lines at the sharp, it's the Circas, the Pinnacles, even the Chris, even Superbook, places that take a lot of money. By market capping, looking at this game right away, in the 47s, like I said, Pinnacle, Superbook, but then you can go to some other sports books and see 46.5 across the board. Some of the sharper line makers. Now, granted, the Pinnacles of the world, they're not the same guys that own the book now that were the Three Amigos, you know, and now it's out there, you know, you had George, Henry, and Monty, Stanley Thompson, that own the book. These guys are the geniuses of the world. And so they're not running the book anymore, but it's still a very sharp book that I do trust their line. So I have no play on that total at all. But I'm rooting for you.
I need to be rooted for. Thank you.
Crack, since you have the lines up,
Sure.
Last time I looked, Minnesota and Cleveland, is that total still at 36.5?
Yeah, 36. There's a couple 36.5 Superbook. 36 is the offshore line and the circle line. 36.
That tells you how bad these two teams are.
Wow, amazing. It really is. And, you know, don't forget now you're across the pond there again. But
Yeah.
Minnesota stayed across the pond. They were in Ireland last week. They
Right.
stayed across for this game. And they're a big disappointment this year to me, though. I thought Minnesota was going to be better. I thought McCarthy was going to be like lead them the way. But, you know, you're putting a lot of pressure on a kid. This particular game, I think Randy had a side in this game.
You got a side on it,
Randy
Randy?
had a side in this game, and interesting side because he just gave that out on my show. We just came on air before this. So.
What do you got, Randy?
Yeah, I like Minnesota first half and Minnesota for the game. The game line, you probably won't find a 3 minus 20 anymore because they announced Gabriel is going to start for the Cleveland Brown team. You know, this is a scheduling spot where Minnesota played last week over in Ireland. They don't have to travel too far to London. And then we see the Cleveland Brown organization have to travel all that way. With the rookie quarterback in there, I can see, you know, I have a lot of trust in the Vikings coaching staff, especially this defensive coordinator Flores. I can see him having a field day with this rookie quarterback And Cleveland will do what they do to lose the game. We know that. And I think the Vikings will win and cover by about 7 points.
And this, by the way, guys, I don't really recommend buying the 3 off a lot of the sports books now because they charge you so much. There's so much price gouging going on. You know, back when the DraftKings, FanDuels, all the sports books came to the country when password was repealed 8 years ago, we thought it was going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Right now, I wish it didn't get repealed because the pricing that they brought to this country is embarrassing. The pricing, we can't play a teaser in this town. We used to play 6-point teasers for $1. First of all, I go back to the 90s. I was playing even teasers with 5 shops, 6-point even teasers. I can name them all. I remember all the shops were playing even teasers. Then they went to $1.10. You could still beat $1.20, but it pissed me off to lay it, so I kind of laid off. Now you can't lay under $1.35 because of DraftKings and FanDuel, and there's some books that charge $1.60.
Oh,
So,
No.
yes, yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy what's going on out there. Because you know why? Not us guys, not the people in this room. It's because of these idiot kids that are new to the genre of sports betting. They don't care. They got LeBron on their advertising. Yeah, I want to play with them. That's why. So they don't honor, they don't respect anything to do with pricing. They don't say no to sports books. They'll take anything they can just to play. Going back to my original thing was buying on to the 3. Of course, it used to charge an extra 10 cents. That was in the 90s. 20 cents extra, okay. I don't even recommend buying onto 3 on any games. However, because you have such a low total like this game, 36, the lower the total, the more the line should come into play. So because you have a total of 36, not 56, you might want to think about laying here the 3 points instead of the 3.5 points. 3 still is the keyest number in the NFL. Granted, it doesn't come out like it used to come out before. Analytics got in the way. Teams are going for 2 now, and also the 10, the 10 more yards for the extra point years back. So it's not as valuable as it was, the 3, but situations like this, it might be.
Crack, Chargers lose to the Giants. They lose another tackle getting hurt in Joe Alt. This is like 2 weeks in a row. How much does this move the line now for the Chargers with these injuries?
That's funny. Randy only gave out 3 games. You went right to the second one that he gave out on the show. So I guess, Randy, you have a side on this, and you want to know something? I didn't really have a side till you said it. I'm probably going to bet your side. Tell the people.
What do you got?
Oh, in the Charger game?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any.
Oh, I thought. Oh, it was a Giants game, right?
It's at 2.5.
Yeah, you
It's
said
the Chargers
Giants.
game's at 2.5 now, right?
Yeah, 2.5. It's the Giants game, though. We'll get to that game because Randy had a good side.
Yeah, I got that game. We'll come
But
back.
okay, Chargers. I got to tell you, for someone like myself that's been around such sharp gambling syndicates in my life, I shouldn't even think like this. I've worked for some of the greatest groups of all times, and I don't have to say the names, but there's been 4 of them that I've worked for that are fantastic. I really respect them. I shouldn't think like this, but I wonder, even us guys up here, do you guys have a team you just can't bet with or can't bet against? My team would be the Chargers. So I know it shouldn't. It doesn't come into play. I know it's a stupid thing, like a snake pit. Like it was, when I was a kid growing up back east, it was always the Yankees. You can't bet with them, can't bet against them. But the Chargers is my team though. That game opened up 2.5. It's up to 3 at some of the shops I respect. The Pinnacle and Chris, both up to 3. South Point 3 flat. And you know what? If you do bet sports, not even professionally, if you bet $100 or more a game, shame on you if you don't have all these apps funded with a little bit of money in them. South Point, they don't move juice. So it's going to be 3, it's going to be 2.5. 2.5 minus 20, minus 30. Shame on you. Have the South Point in your repertoire. But I want to tell you the places that you have to have in that arsenal. Without it, even though I get thrown out, they're so stupid. I'll be real blunt. I'm back into everyone. Every single one of them that throw me out, I'm in right now. Don't worry. So I'm bearding in. They're so dumb. So Stations Sportsbook, the geniuses over there, you should have them in your arsenal. The Coast Properties, which is Boyd, which is FanDuel, you should have in your arsenal. The Win. The Win is a very important book to have. Why? Because every Sunday, Doug, who runs the Win, he's over there and he has to take bets from the pit. And you could see it reflective in their lines every single week. The line's 7 everywhere. He has 7.5 because someone just came in from the baccarat pit and bet 300,000 on the favorite with an hour to go. it's right there for the taking. So there's some, you have to have, if you're now, I'm only saying if you bet $100 a game. If you bet $100 a game, you should have those apps funded for sure. Those three. It seems like whenever I'm going to bet Circa on a bet, I feel like I'm betting the wrong side. Because if Circa's the best line in town with all the books I have, I'm probably betting the wrong side long term, unless they got to bet right before game time, a big bet or something like that. But anyway, it's just something I wanted to say because I'll forget it. I have no notes written down to say anything. Definitely have your books funded.
Do you have a pick, or do you like anything in the Commanders-Chargers game? Did you take any side, or did you get on this early? It's at 2.5 now, 48.5 total.
It comes, we're doing the show on Wednesday. It comes down to injuries, and there's a ton of injuries all over the place. And you have the quarterback coming back for Washington. Should he be okay by game time, he'll play. But then you have Herbert, who's been getting banged around like rubber dog. I mean, the offensive line's been horrible. But when you look at the coach, I mean, Harbaugh is such a great coach. He finds ways to scheme. I would not lay 3 with a team that has that many injuries, but there's not every game is playable. And you ask which team is your favorite to play on against right now. Of the 32 teams in the NFL, all of them. I don't want to play any of them right today because you go good and you go bad. I'm doing much better in other sports. I mean, most of the games yesterday in baseball, but we're talking. This is now going to start the regular season of football because now they've gone through getting their systems together. A lot of the teams are hurt, but some of them are not to the degree that it will matter that much. So right now is going to be the start of the regular season for me.
This is just your personal opinion, the question I'm going to ask you. You've been very outspoken about the coach with the Dolphins, and he should be home for Thanksgiving. But the injury to Tyreek Hill.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. In your personal opinion, do you think he comes back for this, or is this a career-ending injury for him?
I'm going to guess it's over.
I think it's over as well. They said he possibly for 2026.
Well,
I mean, I just don't know how he comes back from
There's an age and a conditioning issue that comes into play. You're coming back from big injuries like that, and like Achilles injuries, it's hard for a guy to come back from that because it takes over a year to heal. I mean, you have to be in super shape to play in the NFL to begin with. And then you get a little older and you get an injury like that. I think it's over.
Okay.
So the coach from Miami is nicknamed Capri Pants. He wears Capri Pants. He's coaching. So he's right up there as one of the worst coaches. I'd still have to say the Titans coach is the worst one.
Randy, while I have you,
he's probably favored to get fired first.
I think so.
Yes.
Randy, let's talk about the Giants-Saints game. You have a side on that. Tell me what you think on this game and what we should be doing.
Yeah, I see this game here. You got a Giants team that had kind of a fluke, a little bit of a phony win where they're outgained all over the place by the Charger team. And, they did get their first win with a rookie quarterback. Played okay for his rookie start, but they lost a key weapon there, Neighbors. And the Saints team is a little better than people think. They've been rated the lowest team going into the season, and I had them, right there with the Titans, right there with the Giants, and maybe even Cleveland. Cleveland's maybe a little better than the other 3, but so I like this here. I got it, a little bit early at pick. It's 1-2, but you can still get like a -125 money line. This is a bad spot for the Saints with a rookie quarterback going into that dome in New Orleans. I think Rattler and company, who hasn't played bad, will get their first win.
I was just going to say, Rattler does not look that bad. And everybody thought he was really bad. I think he looks pretty good at times.
Yeah, and of course, you got a new coach there, and he hasn't turned the ball over, like he was, the year before. So he's got a little bit of second year under his belt, and that team, still is going to be bad, but this could be the spot where they get their first win.
Crack, did you I'm sure you watch all the games. Did you watch the Packers-Cowboys tie?
Actually, I did not get to watch the end of that game.
Okay.
We talked about it on our show with John Orlando because John's a big Cowboy fan, and he was really upset about the overtime rule, how the overtime it should be. And Randy had a comment, and they said, it really should go back to the way it was in the past. But just goes to show you, you're mentioning the game where So now, after week one, I blessed enough to host a Fox Sports radio show, nationwide show on the weekends. And, that number one, we interviewed one of the directors of Risk. And he came on after the first week and said, they have so much exposure to Green Bay. After that first week and after the second week, everyone bet Green Bay to win the Super Bowl. Green Bay, you could still bet season wins over. So that was their biggest risk, a 7-figure risk for a sports book. I don't know if he's at risk anymore. So, but you just think, like I always say though, I tell him right on air. The guy runs BetMGM. I'll just say this: he runs BetMGM. I just say, listen, God protects the bookmakers. You're unbelievable. You guys are. He's come on, and off air he told me what it was. It was not just it was a healthy 7 figures. They take some big bets. 7-figure risk he took on them to win the Super Bowl. And after they were 2-0, and at a terrible price, of course, because that 2-0, you're gonna get penalized in that form of tax. So they are so blessed that happened for them. But look what happened again. We have another team after a week or two that we thought was so great, and I'm not saying they're not good, but they're not. The favorites to win the Super every year. Look at the every year there's a team you say, oh my God, they're going to be so great, and then everyone said after the first week, after I think Detroit scored 6 the first week, they said, oh yeah, Detroit, right? We figured they were done. Now they're everyone's darling because they beat Baltimore. Like every given Sunday, anything will and can happen, and it's proven every single week. We're in Survivor. Granny and I are both. We both have teams in Grandissimo, so we both have giant $100,000 entries. Him and I. And I haven't really talked to you about this. This is going to get so tough here these next 5-6 weeks. Look at the big favorites this week. Arizona. Do I trust the quarterback there to put my $100,000 entry on Arizona to go through? Do I trust the Colts? These are the big favorites. Who are you going to use? Who are you going to use this week? It's probably going to be one of those two for me. But just to think about that, my God, it's unbelievable to have to put your faith on that, on these quarterbacks.
By the way, Arizona just lost their other running back.
No.
Well, you won't be putting it on Green Bay. They're on a bye week.
I already used Arizona.
Speaking of the Cowboys, they're going. I think they're at the Jets this week. Last time I looked, the Cowboys were a favorite on the road at 2.5. Total was 47.5. Do you trust the Cowboys as a favorite on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it opened up pick 'em. By the way, there's pre-flop lines. These lines are they get put up in like June and July, believe it or not. You could bet every single week at a couple different sports books. That line was pick 'em. Before I go into the Dallas Jet game, what's funny? That Baltimore line you guys were talking about, they were 10-point favorites over Houston pre-flop. Really? Can that line move? Can the quarterback be worth 11 points? I mean,
that line's moved 11 points?
11 since pre-flop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Since pre-flop, since June or July, I'm saying. So I was thinking what Jim said. Wow, Baltimore's a 1-point underdog. Is the quarterback? I know there's some other injuries. I get it. There's some moving parts. But anyway, that's just amazing seeing that. But going through your Dallas thing, it was pick 'em in 45.5. Now you're exactly correct. Dallas is 2.5, 47.5. I can't stand the Jets. I can't. But I don't trust Dallas. But
they're the opposite of your Chargers. You love the Chargers, hate the Jets.
The one thing about Dallas, Bill, is nobody's been able to stop them from scoring.
Yeah,
I mean,
just defense.
Yeah, they can't stop anybody, of course.
Sure.
But I don't know if the Jets can score against anybody, or can they score?
Yeah. They're
Is this a team
pickle.
total, Jim? Do you take a team total with Dallas or team total over?
Well, I've been betting team total in Dallas every week over. I've done it every game.
Wow.
The Jets are better off with Taylor in there at quarterback
Yes.
than they are with his
Yes.
Fields. He's just basically a running
Scrambling.
back that is inaccurate. And you saw that even on Monday night against the Dolphins. The Dolphins got some officiating help in that game, which helped me. But you definitely see that. I think that's a line where if it goes to 3, much like the Baltimore, if it goes to +3, I think that's almost an auto take.
There's one thing about betting sports today as opposed to 20, 30 years ago, and you guys can attest to this. There's so many different ways to attack the game. Prop betting has become very popular. This guy's out, so this guy's going to get more receptions because he's out. Now they have 2 running backs, Connor and Benson or Breeson or something for Arizona. So somebody else is going to get the ball. somebody's going to pick up that slack. Is it going to be Kyler Murray running the ball more, or are they going to throw the ball more? So when you look at prop betting, it's another way to play the game and have action, as opposed to years ago when none of that was available to us. And even if you go back even further than that, betting totals wasn't even available to us.
You know, it's funny. You must have read my notes because this is for crack. It's on the next game I was going to bring up about prop betting. Tampa Bay at Seattle. Line last time I looked was 3.5, 44.5. But is this a prop bet game?
You know, I primarily win my money betting props more than size.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why I put crack, because you always talk about the props.
Yeah, NFL player props. But they're also the reason why I get thrown out of every sports book. So, you know, the stations you're going to bet props. You're going to get thrown out. Listen, I love the guys at South Point. They're great to me. But like, they don't even take props on the app. They know that you're not going to take betting prop. You want to bet a prop? Come in line, stand online, and bet them here. But the apps that do take props, the Westgate, Circa, they take a dime each. There's some other places that do. But if you're betting props at like Stations or Boyd, or local guys, they see props, they're going to throw you out if you're a long-term winner, which it's not that hard to be a long-term winner in props, to be honest with you, compared to size. The perfect example is you can go to any big casino in this town. I've said this on multiple platforms before. And on a Sunday, you could say, I want to bet, Patrick Mahomes over passing yards. And they'll say, okay, you can bet $500 or maybe $1,000. But I want to bet the Chiefs. Whatever you can fit in your backpack. You want 10 million or $1 million? I shouldn't say 10. $1 million though, there's many places in this town that'll take $1 million on a game if you give them some time to work with it. That goes to show you how efficient that NFL side market is compared to the prop market. But props is how I've made my money. I was thrown out of many local. I played with a lot of local guys in my life, and local guys, you know, they just don't like NFL player props, and for good reason. I understand there's an edge on these type of bets compared to that. Even your Seattle, Tampa Bay, you're talking about, that line's 3.5, 44.5. And I leaned to Seattle in that game, but it was -3, which there is a couple, -3, -20s. I believe you're in Seattle.
You on this game too, Rady?
I think we're both on the same side there, so make sure you bet against it. Because once we line up on the same side.
You got Rady or Seattle, you guys were both on?
Yeah. But however, at the -3, which right now, there's 2 sports books in town that have -3, -20. So,
are you on the same side with this, Jim?
I haven't played the game. I would, if the weather is good, and Seattle, of course, has the potential for bad weather. You know, I used to have a home there, and there's a lot of rain, of course, and that can affect the game. But if the weather's good, I'm going to bet it over.
Did you get on early, Jim, on the Raiders-Colts game? I think it opened at 6.5. It's up to 7.48 total. Did you get in on it before?
I bet the Colts early.
You bet the Colts. Randy or Bill, did you do the same thing?
I have not played that game yet.
Yeah. Ditto.
That's not one.
Not one of the games you like.
I haven't seen the Raiders do anything good all year. I mean, I don't know.
They're good at throwing interceptions.
Good. That's good.
That's a good prop bet to take.
There's a prop.
There's a prop.
We'll see if he stays in there whole season.
Are you a prop better as well?
I am, but I can attest to Bill, even, because I play the Arizona books, the Colorado books, the FanDuels, the DraftKings. You can get limited very fast if you're good at the props. The best way to counter that is if these places have kiosk betting. You can nail them on the kiosk and probably not get limited.
Something most people don't talk about, but kiosk betting is very important. Of course, some of my friends that run books don't like hearing that, but if you're betting kiosk, I'm not saying you're circumventing limits, because that's not the goal, though I have no problem doing that at a lot of places. Caesars, I'll destroy them. I don't care. They're a terrible corporation. So, but by the way, Caesars is also one of the ones that throw you out, obviously.
But you're back in.
Yeah. No. Oh, I'm back in.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And it's so stupid. It just takes a while to know it's somebody. Wouldn't you rather just take $500 from me on a prop, know where you're going to be at, overmove the prop, get the people on the other side? No, they want to throw out anyone with a pulse. So, but going back to what I'm saying with kiosk betting, if you notice the DraftKings of the world, anyone ever been to their marketplaces? Like I was at Foxwoods, they had 250 kiosks all throughout the casino at DraftKings. Now they have like 6 right outside the sportsbook. Now Resorts in Atlantic City had 40 kiosks. Now they have 4 right across from the tellers, because what would happen was these groups would come in and they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they'd all jam. It's called stuffing the kiosk. Jam the kiosk of $200 each guys on the same exact prop, and they, for the one team, the ringleader, they would actually bet for him. And the ringleader, by the way, I know one of them, very super sharp guy. But you got to have street smarts. You got to have common sense. You have to have decision-making skills. Some of these guys, these mathematical nerds, I'll call them, they have none. They don't know anything. All they know is what their formulas and their analytics have determined to be a play and their algorithm. And they don't realize you have to put some street smarts into a thing. Just like when you're betting a local guy. You're betting them 8 props on a day, 10 props on a day, and you're going to bet one NFL side on a Sunday. That's a clear reason by a bookmaker says, wait, this guy didn't bet on a Sunday. You have to, even if you're laying 6.5 and taking 7 with another local guy, you have to bet the NFL on Sundays to have longevity in your accounts.
So if you gave him balanced action,
Yes.
as many props as you do sides, even if you're taking the worst of it a little bit, they'd probably keep you around for
As long as you're betting NFL sides, I listen, it's that hard to beat. I don't know why any bookmaker would not want you to keep you in there betting that. If you're betting as many sides as props, absolutely. Okay.
Jim, let me ask
Or
you.
have a lot of friends.
or have a lot of
Ghosts of Krackomberger.
Here's a very
You mean friends with beards?
Beards.
here's a very intriguing game to me this week. Denver at Philadelphia. What is, in your opinion, what is the key to this game? The line's 3.5, 43.5. But what's the key in this game?
Randy's got something for you.
Okay. That's more.
I played the
Phase
under.
one.
I played the under here, under 44. I believe this is going to be a slugfest, slobber knocker type game.
Oh, slobber knocker.
Philly's offense been struggling. We saw in the second half against Tampa Bay, they tried to ball control that game. They didn't have many yards. I know that they've been winning with special teams. They've been winning with block kicks and that kind of thing. Their offense has been struggling. You know, their wide receivers are complaining, especially the main guy there. He's always complaining. It seems like when he doesn't get the ball. So, yeah, I see this with Denver's defense is very strong. Philly's got definitely a good defense that can, you know, Nix is not a real downfield threat for the Philly defense, which is the D-backs in their defensive backfield. So I can see this being a low-scoring, grinded out type game.
Yeah, I actually didn't play this yet, but when Randy said it earlier on our show, it made a lot of sense. So I would tend to lean there in this particular game with the under. And I noticed the sharper sports books are under 43.5, laying some extra juice. So I'm more of a market capper on a lot of these things, and just have these guys. You know, back in the day in the 90s, my partner and we did all our own power rankings, and bet our own stuff. But I have found some of the sharpest guys in the world that I deal with now, like Randy, like some other guys. And, when I have a lot more outs, a lot more different places to bet at, it makes for a nice partnership. So,
You agree with him on this game?
I have to. I mean, it's hard to look at this game as being a high-flying game. I think it's going to be the word slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
I like that word.
That should be the title of today's show.
The
Slobber knocker.
Okay.
Crack, man, you had just mentioned a little bit ago, we were talking about the Cleveland.
There is a game I'm interested in. I'd like to hear.
Which one?
The Buffalo and the Patriots.
That's where I'm going right now.
Oh,
Sunday
good.
night, New England at Buffalo. And I wanted to go to Crack, because you had talked about Cleveland, about the total and that line kind of lining up. This opened up when I saw it at 6.5, total at 50.5. Now, last time I looked, -8 and 49.5. Is that line in total in sync with what you were talking about earlier?
yeah, this I was actually looking at New England on some of my Circa Millions entries, or maybe even my Westgate Superbook entry. But someone I really respect in the last 2 hours came on the -7.5 and bet Buffalo, which shocked me. That's knocked it up to 8 everywhere. This guy usually bets underdog. He's an underdog guy. He's a winning lifetime NFL bettor. And I say winning, he's 54%, which by the way, that's really healthy to do in NFL sides. I know everyone says, 50, I could do that. But trust me, in the NFL sides, it's really hard to do. He came on Buffalo. It's up to 8 right now. I am probably going to stay off this game altogether. 8 and 50. Again, probably going to stay off this game. No play here for me, even though I do respect. I got to respect what that. Now I'm probably not going to use New England in my survivors now. I mean, in my Circa Millions now. You ready? Anything?
I have this game teased down, but like we talked about teaser prices, I have 110 and 120 teasers
110 teasers, amazing.
Yeah.
available to
Unbelievable.
myself at
That's
different
awesome.
spots, but which are hard to get. But I saved Buffalo for this spot in Survivor. Probably will use it.
So tell me about this game. What do you like?
I actually like the Patriots.
Like the Patriots?
Yeah,
+8.
The defense for Buffalo scares me a little bit. I do think that game plan, move the ball down the field against those defensive players on Buffalo. I think they're weak in that department. Yeah, you can't argue with their offense. They can score anybody. Josh Allen's awesome. But I see a lot of potential for the Patriots. They had a couple games. They turned the ball over a few times. They lost to Pittsburgh, and they turned the ball over 5 times. I mean, they have the ability to score along with Buffalo. So right now, good weather, if providing it is good weather, I would say both the over and the dog.
So let me ask you this. I just got a text message. Does Buffalo getting back 3 key players from injury this week have anything to do with this line?
Well, it does if they're healthy. When players come back, they're not always 100%, and that's a key. And we can't know that, and you don't know that until they go on the field. I mean, there's a lot of it's a guessing game, so you have to look for value in the prices and the odds you're playing, and because some of it you just don't know when you go into the game.
So Monday night's game next week is Kansas City at Jacksonville. And let me start with you on this, Jim. I want to ask you this question. Are the Jaguars somewhat of a surprise so far this year to you?
They looked a little bit like a surprise last week. I mean, but I'm not Lawrence has never really developed the way you thought he was going to develop coming out of college, out of Clemson. They had a decent showing last week, winning that game, playing well in that game for a little bit. I think Kansas City's back. I think how the hell can you argue with the coaching staff they have? Spags and Reed, and they got Mahomes, and if your offensive line is sharp and they have some wide receivers that can actually play a whole game healthy, open up some running lanes with the because you have a little time for Mahomes and stuff. They're hard to beat. I against Kansas City.
So you're going to lay the 3.5 on the road?
I don't know if I'd do that, but I might play the money line.
Okay.
I don't like laying 3.5 in spots like that, but I might play the money line.
Randy or Crackman, anything on this game, this Monday night game?
Yeah, I laid the 3 when it was there.
Oh, you got it at 3.
South Point, so yeah, I trust.
Circa and Superbook still have 3 right now. -3, -20.
I trust Andy Reid and his coaching over this young Liam Cohen, the coach of Jacksonville and their organization, which hasn't been very good. Even though they're still, in my opinion, they're right now they're still a question mark whether they're going to have a good team enough to even get to the playoffs. I think Kansas City, I agree with Jim, is back. Even though these teams off the big Super Bowl hangover sometimes don't look good, but they got some weapons back, and they're going to get another wide receiver, not for this game, but in the future in this Rice. So Kansas City could be people get tired of watching them, but I think we're going to have to watch them some more.
Bill?
Myself, I have no play on the game, but I just think of like what Jim said, and this NFL, any given Sunday or Monday, situational. I think that the books will need Jacksonville in this game. Monday Night Football, public scene, Kansas City, maybe they are back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jacksonville win this game outright. But however, I'm rooting for these guys because I don't have any skin in the game. I just know that public is funny, man. No matter what, they're going to bet this game. It's Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. These are the get-out games. Anyone that played with New York BMs back in the day, even Philly, New York, whatever, they ended their weeks on Monday. Why did they end the week on Monday? Because they knew people were going to try to get out on Monday night. So I know everyone thinks they have to have a bet on the game because it's on TV. It's Sunday night, Monday night. Maybe bet a prop or something. It's all about if you're doing this professionally or you're doing this socially with your friends. But I know what happens socially. This it can get real dangerous on these get out games Sunday, Monday night.
Anybody in the audience have any questions for anybody on the panel? Check out there.
No, Ray's not here.
Ray's not here for any questions. I do want to go back to one game that we kind of just touched on and just get the panel's opinion. With the Titans and the Cardinals, last time I looked 7.5, 41.5. Anybody here on the panel have a thought or play on this game?
Well, the Cardinals haven't shown a lot. I mean, and now they have Connor, and I can't remember the other guy's name, the second running back. He's now out. So the running backs are gone. Murray is a questionable guy. A lot of talent, a little bit small for a quarterback position. Maybe he should have gone into baseball. I don't know. He's never been consistent. I have problems, but the other side of this, the other team, they are awful. I mean, they are just.
Are they the NFL's worst team?
Well, at this point, well,
close.
Roster-wise, yes. Roster-wise, yes. Now, will they end up being the worst team? That could be Cincinnati because they're falling apart, even though they have a much better roster, at least on the offensive side. But roster-wise, they have the worst roster.
Randy, do you have a play or thought on that Titans-Cardinals game?
No play for me yet in this game, but I do agree with Jim. This guy for coaching, this Callahan's the worst coach. I have him rated the lowest of all the head coaches, and I do coaching rankings. This guy's rated the lowest. They haven't covered a game, I believe, in 17 out of 18.
Wow.
The last 18, the Titans have not covered.
That's unbelievable.
So that's how bad they
Wow.
are. Because
Wow.
they're getting a point or two, inflated almost every week. That's how bad this team is.
Well, that's the reason why things have to return to the mean too. People. I hate trends. I hate when someone goes on, but these talking heads on TV. That's all they got to talk about. They talk about trends. This team has beat this team 15 in the last 16 years. What does that matter? It matters now with the current squad, current conditioning. I don't want to know something going back years, but they have nothing else to say. These people, they look pretty and whatever. And, they have nothing else to say, so they have to find trends going back for years. But situationally here, you're going to pay in the way of point spread tax. You're going to pay extra if you're going to be betting against that team based on that trend, even though that trend is just this past season and a half. You're going to pay a little extra. We were looking at I have partners in my Grandissimo, of course, but I also have 20 entries in Survivor too. So we were looking at a lot of Arizonas here, but now that the line has come down in situations, you have to save somebody for Thanksgiving and you have to save someone for Christmas. So it's really tough. I really don't look. Randy, what do you do? You actually look ahead to Christmas week? Or do you look ahead to Christmas week now? Even I'm referring to Grandissimo.
Yeah, I'm still looking ahead because
there's only
so
50
many
some
still
of us
alive.
left.
There's still 55 alive.
55.
I'm still looking ahead to Christmas and maybe saving a certain team for that.
Maybe people don't understand what that means. If you don't have a team available to play on when it comes to Thanksgiving or Christmas, you're really screwed.
It happened last year to somebody.
You're really
Someone in the content, they had no one to use.
They didn't plan.
They didn't plan and blew their entry, which was worth about 20 grand at the time.
How can you not plan
So
ahead?
they actually didn't have a
Correct.
team to play
Nothing to
and
play.
got eliminated.
Zero.
Unbelievable.
I mean, how does 24 people last week put up $1,000 and forget to put their pick in? 24 people last week forgot to put their pick in the contest.
I shouldn't talk. A couple of weeks ago, I forgot to put my picks in, but that was because I was a little bit ill and they gave me too many drugs. I fell asleep and I didn't wake up.
It could happen though.
Yeah,
it could
that
happen.
was voluntarily. I would not miss. Believe me.
Well, I know you've been hitting baseball, so just to kind of give you an update real quick. Tigers and Guardians are tied going into the bottom of the 8th, and the Padres are up 1-0 going in the bottom of the 3rd in Chicago. So that's where we're at in baseball.
I have the Guardians today. I had them yesterday. I took the Guardians yesterday under, and I had +1.5 runs, so I won both of those bets. I had a good day yesterday in baseball.
Awesome. Next week we're going to have Jeff Whitelaw back with us, and Matt Humans will be here. A round of applause for the crack man, Randy McKay, and the legend here, Jim Feist. We want to thank J-Lore Wine. We're going to have some wine. We'll give that away as soon as we get off the air here. Don't forget to stay tuned to Proline TV. My name is Tommy Canale. Good luck on your bets, everybody. We'll see you next week at noon here at Dom DeMarco's.